Have you ever noticed that your super smart AI assistant has the memory of a goldfish? Well, today we're going to dive into a project that's trying to fix that exact problem by giving your AI its very own computer.
It's so weird, right? You've got this incredibly powerful AI that can write code or draft these complex documents, but every single time you open a new chat, it's like you've never met. It has total and complete amnesia. Every single time. It's a blank slate. It has zero memory of your last project, no clue about your long-term goals. For any kind of work that takes more than a few minutes, this is a huge problem. But what if it didn't have to be that way? And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. A great piece on Deuteric.com points out that the issue isn't really the AI model itself. Nope, it's the environment it lives in. See, most AI agents exist in this little temporary bubble. They do a task and then, pop, the bubble disappears and everything is forgotten. Well, that temporary bubble is exactly what this open source project called holaOS is trying to fix. And it's not just another AI tool. You have to think of it as a permanent home for your AI agent, basically its very own computer. So what does that actually mean? It means holaOS gives the agent a persistent place to live, to work, and most importantly, to remember. It's designed for what's called long horizon work. Those big, complex tasks that happen over days or weeks. This gives the AI real continuity and even lets it get better over time based on what it's already done. And listen, this isn't just some obscure idea. With over 3,500 stars on GitHub, it's pretty clear that a lot of developers are really excited about this. There's a real need to solve this whole AI amnesia thing. Okay, so how does it actually give an AI a memory and a place to work? Well, it all boils down to three really simple but powerful core concepts. First up is the workspace. The easiest way to think of this is like a dedicated project folder on your computer. You could have one workspace for, say, managing your social media, and a totally separate one for a coding project. The key thing is, each one is completely isolated, with its own agent, its own files, and its own memory. Now, inside that workspace lives the agent. This is the one doing the actual work. And here's the magic. It remembers everything that happens inside its own little workspace. It remembers past chats, the choices it made, all the context it's built up. So when you come back tomorrow, it picks up right where you left off. No more starting from scratch. But an agent is only as good as its tools, right? That's where apps and skills come in. Think of apps like connections to the outside world. They let the agent actually use your Gmail or search GitHub or post to LinkedIn. Skills are different. They're more like its internal knowledge, like reusable playbooks that teach the agent how to do specific things, like draft a report in this specific formal tone. So let's just put that all together. You've got the workspace, that's the project folder. Inside is the agent, that's your dedicated assistant. And to do its job, that assistant uses apps and skills, its personal toolbox, and its library of know-how. It's a super clear, really powerful way to think about organizing AI work. Okay, so we get the architecture now, but what's the big deal? What does this actually let us do that we couldn't do before? The official documentation puts it perfectly. This whole system is built for work that just doesn't fit in a single prompt. I mean, how many real-world tasks can be solved with just one command? Not many. So what does this long horizon work actually look like? Well, we're talking about an agent that can draft an entire week of social media posts, remembering your product launch details from Monday to Friday. Or imagine an agent that goes through your crazy inbox every single morning and actually gets better at knowing your priorities over time. For developers, think about an agent that can handle a messy, multi-day code refactor across the entire codebase. These are the kinds of things that are just impossible for an AI with amnesia. And for any developers out there thinking, this sounds complicated, get this. For macOS users, it's literally just one command you paste into your terminal to get started. Making it that accessible is a huge win for an open source project. Okay, this all sounds pretty incredible, but let's take a step back for a second and get a realistic picture of where the project is at right now. For those of you who are into the tech stack, it's built almost entirely with TypeScript. That's a great choice because it plugs right into that modern web and desktop app world, which makes it way easier to attract developers to help out. Now, it is important to remember this is still an early stage project. Right now, macOS support is solid, and they're working on Windows and Linux. That core feature, the persistent memory, it's live. But things like the app marketplace and full documentation are still growing. So it's got a really strong foundation, and it's actively being built out. And this all brings us to the most important point. the core philosophy behind holaOS. They call it environment engineering. The big idea is that just having a brilliant AI model isn't enough. To really unlock its potential, you have to build a great environment for it to live and work in. At the end of the day, a simple agent with a great setup will always beat a powerful agent in a chaotic, forgetful one. And that leaves us with this final thought, which I think totally reframes the conversation around AI. Instead of just asking what a model can do in one single prompt, holaOS makes us ask a much, much bigger question. What could you actually build? What could you automate? What could you create if your AI partner had a perfect, persistent memory? The possibilities are pretty wild to think about.